Okay, this is training manual, a blank one, which gets modified because there are companies who do these jobs and sell these manuals, and then the ship staff adds up, subtracts, and makes it suitable for a particular ship. Like training manual is separate for each ship, ship specific. So this is the first part. Okay, name has to be written. Then come the usual. You can have any picture, anything there, depending on companies will have their logo. Now don't worry about this company who has made the manual. Just look at this picture. It shows the burnt bridge. This is what can happen. This is the small ship which is burnt completely. One essential page, entries and amendments. Now, this is the record of updates. Anytime there is update or correction, normal system is we replace the page. We reprint and replace the page rather than expecting somebody to take a pen and start writing. It is much easier to replace pages and mention it. When then standardization becomes already. So this is one system where we will be keeping a record of what all changes we are making to the manual. Then there is a list of responsible persons. Now here you see responsible person for maintenance of manual, then portable firefighting equipment, detectors, or fire extinguishing system, etc. So responsible person's name must be there, mentioned clearly. Now don't worry, acknowledgements, that is not normally the person. Then you have got this index, what we can see here. Contents, section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this particular manual covers everything quite well. So if you study this carefully, you should be, I will put around 70%. And then more than that, you have to obviously do a little bit more. Now the purpose of this manual is to provide all members of the crew with general and ship specific information. Instructions in firefighting, meaning of the fire alarm, operation, use of firefighting systems, etc., etc. Now, this manual is always read in conjunction with ship owners or captain standing orders. Normally, it will be captain standing orders, and ship owner thing normally they don't directly involve themselves. So you will have a captain standing orders, then relevant codes of safe working practices, etc., etc. So this is not the only one thing to close the chapter. This is one of the. It's a part of the system. You need to also refer to other books, like you got like here, see this material data sheets. Now, obviously, when you are going to deal with some chemicals, anything, you have to read this. So this is how it is, not only for safety, but we are also looking at when you are replacing chemicals, say foam chemicals or something else, and all that time you need to refer. Now this aluminum construction and all, because that depends on ship to ship, okay? Because a lot of ships nowadays try to have aluminum accommodation because it reduces weight. But then you have to also be careful about the fires. Now reference is made to SOLAS. Okay, these dates will change. Like this date may be changing. We have got latest one, something else, but we can accept that some changes will be there. Then I want to see whether my face can be seen or no. So 75 and 62, if you can switch off your videos. If you switch off your videos, it will be much better, because then I will not get these windows. Okay. Okay. Now, all sorts of details, everything are mentioned in, say, section 7. So this manual will have most of the things what you need. And we are going to use it to cover up all our syllabus. Compliance, it is always there because IMO has a resolution, and SOLAS demands that every ship must have these manuals. Fire training manual, whatever you call it. But there are training manuals which are requirement, they're mandatory. Safety operational booklet, that is a part and parcel of this, but it can be also a separate document according to SOLAS regulation 16. And this permits combining. This is a little boring one, don't worry. Then additional requirement for tankers are there. Then you have got vessel specific equipment procedures. So this is important thing, like this manual is meant for this particular ship. Any other ship, if you are going to use it, you will have to modify so that it's suitable for that other ship. Core material normally remains same. Maintain, it has to be provided in each crew mess room, recreation room, and more. Working language of the crew. Next part, we move on to the main thing. Now that introduction is over, this is what we are going to cover, which all of you have done already, but we will just revise it so that we will have a continuity. First thing starts. Fire safety objectives, functional requirements and principles of survival. This is what we have already done. Fire safety objectives defined in SOLAS. We have done it in the class. Prevent, reduce risk of damage, contain, control, suppress fire in compartment of origin, provide escape route. Okay, somebody is asking a question like working means working language for you will be always English. It happens that some national Spanish and all, they like to have Spanish one, French like to have in French. So this is a working language. If all the crew is from the particular place, you may have a different working language. But by making certain changes on, like we have got special English classes for people joining Sea Life. So maritime English has come in. After that, English has become more and more common. Now to achieve the objectives we have got. Okay, it is like a timetable what we make when the college begins. I will study like this, I will study like that, all that. So same way we made objectives. Now, how will you achieve those objectives? So one is division of ship into main vertical and horizontal zones by thermal and structural boundaries. That means we create boxes. So that is how you separate them by vertical, horizontal. That means it's a combination of boxes. That is how you make a ship. Separation of spaces by thermal and structural boundaries. Like, you don't have cargo under your uh, accommodation anytime. We always separate it by thermal and structural boundaries. Okay. Then we restrict use of combustible material when we are uh, building the ship. So we don't put combustible material unnecessarily around, restrict it, minimum required. So we find new materials which will not catch fire easily. And we test the materials also before we use them. Now, next thing comes, okay, you have got like a place which is all separated properly, etc., etc., all right. You use minimum combustible material. And then next stage comes detection of fire in the zone of origin. Zone means that is a box. Fire must be detected in that zone of origin. It is not like my house is on fire, I don't know, a neighbor's house gets on fire, and then somebody notices that there is a fire. No, what we are looking at is we're looking at it detection of fire in the zone of origin. Wherever the fire starts, it should point there. The detection should point that fire has started here. Containment, extinction of fire in the space of origin. You don't want fire to spread. So wherever the fire is, you extinguish it there by containing and extinguishing it. That means you don't allow fire to spread. Protection of means of escape and access for firefighting. That is, if you are going to escape in case when the things go out of control, that escape route must be protected. Otherwise, you will have no escape route. So that protection is important. And to fight fire, you also need a safe access to the fire. If you don't have safe access, how will you go there? So you also need protection of these spaces. Ready availability of fire extinguishing appliances. When we talk about ready availability, it means 24/7. There is nothing called it's not available for 4 hours. Nothing like that. In case anything happens, then we have got other system which will cover up later. Now, the point number 8 is more specific about tankers. Minimization of possibility of ignition of flammable cargo vapor, because on tankers you will always have cargo vapors which will be escaping in atmosphere, and we have to reduce that chance of any ignition happening. Additional ones, of course, there are some more, and that is specifically special category RoRo spaces that we did those 3 extra regulations. Okay, principles of survival in fire. Now, if you have to survive in fire, now you realize one thing: if something goes wrong right now, at our home, anywhere else, mall, anything, we can just run out, correct, and leave firefighting to fire brigade. But unfortunately, what is our problem right now is we are at sea. There is a ship. Now, in case of fire, how do we survive? That is why there are points. The theories are there, the practices, then we have to convert into practice and so on. So, knowledge of fire theory, regular training, preparedness for fire emergency, knowledge of escape routes, then regular inspections and maintenance, and knowledge of dangers. Dangers means hazards. Now we start fire. Okay, the famous triangle. Fire is result of rapid oxidation at elevated temperature. This is a standard definition, which you have to know it well in case you have to quote it out somewhere. Now, remember one of the things, a flame may or may not be seen. There are flames which you cannot see, and some flames we can see. Now, it happens sometimes, like these blue flames and all. And if any one of you have got a kitchen with a bright light from like morning time and all, you will find it's very difficult to see gas flame. It happens. So flame, remember, may or may not be seen depending on the flame. Traditionally, we used to have the standard fire triangle, which is like fuel, oxygen, heat. Now, one important thing is fire cannot start unless the fire triangle develops. Now, remember this wording carefully, cannot start. Fire will start if all the three things are together. And if you remove one element, then fire will stop. But the fourth element which comes into play, that chain reaction, that is required for continuing the fire. It is not starting. Starting is one part, and continuing, because it is possible if there is no chemical chain reaction, fire will extinguish itself. So continuation and starting are two different things, and that is where the fourth element comes in. I think it should be clear now looking at these diagrams. Now, if we remove any one, fire cannot continue. So fuel can be solid, liquid, gas. Anyway, in the end, only gas which burns. Flammable, when heated, gives flammable vapors. Vapors are gas, so that is what burns actually. Oxygen is always there, unless you create a specific place where there is no oxygen, but you always have oxygen in normal places. Heat is not just anything, it has to have a critical temperature, because heat is a relative term. So you need a critical temperature. It's like for certain objects, they may catch fire in say 100 degrees temperature, and then there are others who will need 600 degrees. So it depends. So critical temperature is important. Chain reaction. Once this chain reaction starts, means it keeps on providing energy. It's like what I will say, if somebody is smoking, because the cigarette is lit, that heat keeps on passing and there is a chain reaction, so the cigarette keeps on burning. That is exactly what happens. You can remove one or more elements from tetrahedron to stop fire. How fire spreads, standard thing, conduction, convection. This is all something you have done in the past. Radiation. That is, radiation is the way we get it from sun to earth. Direct burning. Mattress. So it keeps on burning itself once you start. Fire can spread from 6 sides. See, every cube has got 6 sides. So cabin, anything, every compartment has got 6 sides. So it spreads from 6 sides. And there is heat inside. It's like you're handling a fixed box. There is heat inside. And one method is you want to cool it, boundary cooling. Boundary cooling means try to cool the box. So there are different things which will happen. But remove any one of the things, you can stop fire. It will spread by these 4 different methods, and it will spread by 6 sites. And plus, there may be additional stuff like heating duct, air conditioning duct, because from there it will leak out. That is the problem. It leaks out and goes to some other compartment because there is a common connection. Fire growth. Fire, well, anything would that keeps on getting it. It's like, if I just have 1 kilo of something, a paper, I burn it. Fine. If so far as that 1 kilo is available for burning, it will burn out completely. Now what happens? It may need 10 minutes to burn. But suppose the oxygen increases, like there is a wind, it might burn in say 5 minutes. So this is how it spreads, and growth is spread, how it is going to spread. So we try to restrict all these things whenever there is a fire. Flashover is something you must have done when you have done this firefighting course. You think you extinguished it and then you put water and again it restarts. That is flashover. Okay. The pictures are here. You have to read. This part you read. But the more important part will start here now. Classification of fires. Now, okay, there are different classifications of fire. ISO standard, that is Europeans use, India uses, USA as usual have their own criteria. But basically what we are looking at it, IMO is looking at it, class A, solid materials, class B, liquid materials, class C, gases, class D, metals, powdered metal, metals, etc. And then we have E, sometimes mentioned class E, but that is electrical fire, where it is separated only for one reason, that electricity doesn't catch fire. Material movement, you say material, it has to be solid, liquid, or gas, or metal. So that is not, again, we are going to repeat it and saying electrical fire, generally when it is mentioned anywhere, the problem is electrocution, the live circuits. That is the problem. Because when you start extinguishing it and by mistake you use something water, now one end of the water jet may be on the something burning and which is live, and other end is in your hand. Electricity will travel and you will get electrocuted. That is the reason electrical fires are mentioned. But actually what is on fire will be in class A, B, C, D. F was also added, F or K. Added because cooking oils in galley at high temperatures. Now, of course, when we go to restaurants, we also have some fancy dishes like sizzlers and all, where you get food in front of you, which is on fire. And also in pubs, you have got drinks where you drink fire. So anyway, those ones are harmless types, but cooking oils can catch fire. If you watch professional cooks cooking, you will find sometimes their frying pan is on fire and they are actually cooking with it. So this is where the class F was added up, and the cooking oils and the galley fat and all can catch fire. And there is also a danger of transmitting it to other places through the ducting. Now, principles of firefighting. Like we saw, fire cannot start unless you have got fuel, oxygen, and heat there, and it will not continue unless there is a chemical chain reaction. Now, we will see different methods of extinguishing fire. One is starvation. What is starvation? Now you look at the right hand side figure and the left hand side figure. Here, this one and this one. We are removing fuel, so we are starving it of food, that is fuel. Smothering by reducing oxygen, because you need minimum percentage of oxygen for fire to continue. So if you reduce that, fire will extinguish itself. So what we do is smothering. We try to cut off oxygen, we try to reduce oxygen, and that is what is smothering. Then we have got next one. Cooling means we remove the heat, the yellow element, heat. Now cooling means, you see what happens is 100 degrees temperature in fire is low. That 100 will come down to normal temperatures anyway, but 100 degrees is low. Fire might be having temperature of 600, 800 degrees, 1000 degrees. So cooling means even if you dose with water, it starts cooling. Basically, it is water. And then last one is interference. That is where we break chain reaction. We break chain reaction, and that is interference, and that is how we extinguish fire. That is, the halons are not there, dry power extinguishers, dry powder. Now we come to another very common thing for exam questions like, okay, what is water? Water is a cooling agent. Why do we like water? Because you're floating in water, is available all the time, and you don't have to worry much about it. And what is the best quality of water? When you use water, the latent heat of evaporation is the main key. Because when you use water, and if it converts into steam, means it is really efficient. And once the heat comes down, it is easy. Other one, general, that's why we like fine mist. Now you have got different types of them. Advantages: readily available, large capacity to absorb heat, versatile, jet, spray, boundary cooling, cooling large areas, etc. Chemically stable, does not deteriorate. Now, disadvantages. Those are the bad ones. Possible adverse effect on stability. Now, why we say possible adverse effect on stability? Because one thing is it creates free surface if it is accumulating anywhere on ship. And secondly, if fire is on top, you are adding a weight. That extra weight may be unsuitable for stability. And you realize one thing when we did the FSS as well as the SOLAS, the bilge pumping capacity has to be higher than the fire pumps, because so that you can drain out all the water all the time and avoid this effect on stability. Now the problem with liquid fires, water and oil doesn't mix. So oil may spread if you use water on liquid fires. Now, if there are electrical and live cables around, if you use water, seawater is conductor, so it's going to create bigger problems. You may get electrocuted. Now, water can also react with certain substances to produce toxic fumes. This is possible. In fire, generally, we may not know exactly what is happening. The reason being, generally it is cargo, and then every material can have different things. Some cargoes can swell, like for example, if you have got cotton bales and you put water, it will swell because a lot of things are sort of dehydrated, and then you put water, it is going to do damage. May cause some property damage. Generally, it is going to cause more than property damage, rest of the cargo damage, because you may be having 1,000 tons there, 20 tons are on fire, you dose it with salt water. So you dose 20 tons, maybe the contact damage was another 50 tons. But if you have put salt water all over, the salt has got mixed up with the cargo and there is a big damage. And then comes something that we generally don't anticipate. It freezes in cold climates. It may not be efficient. Normally, what happens is we take seawater, so that is okay. But suppose your ship is stuck up in ice, you may have a problem in getting water to fight fire. Now, since water is friendly and it has got advantages and all, one is using the pipelines and using hoses. Other one is we store it in fire containers, fire extinguishers. So it is like you have got about 9-10 liters of water available to fight fire. So those are water extinguishers. Then you have got sprinkler systems depending on the type of ship. Then different types of spray systems are there. That is basically for cooling. Any spray system of water, it's for cooling. Ro-ro ships have. Most of the engine rooms today also have hypermist systems as an extra system. CO2 is there and hypermist is there. So that is how it works. Next comes, now we saw the liquid one, that is water. Carbon dioxide. It smothers the fire by displacing oxygen. Advantages: inert, electrically non-conductive. Now realize when we say electrically non-conductive, that is basically electricity does travel through gases, and that is why we have got that is how modern electronics started. First valve sets used to be there, that electricity used to travel through gases, so that time the gases are conductive. So just remember that carbon dioxide is non-conductive. Again, now water you have got plentiful because you are floating, but CO2 obviously you are going to buy something and keep it. So we have got CO2. Now, when we look at it, limited supply, because when you made the ship, you created some space, you worked out calculations. In case fire, I can have this much. But if you finish it, you don't have extra available. That is the same story. You know what is happening today. You know what happened, no? Guys are finished with cigarettes and booze. So limited supply was available. Okay. Now, CO2 is relatively cheap because it is also used in other industries. Available because it has got a lot of other uses. Now, since it is a gas, it will not harm cargo. It is inert gas. It doesn't form toxic or explosive gases. Now see, what we are using is CO2. And with normal fires, it is not going to react with fire, except its job is to remove oxygen and replace it so that there is no oxygen available. Possibility is always there. CO2 may react with extremely high fire to make carbon monoxide possible, but it is beyond the scope. Now, it does not deteriorate in storage. It's like it's got long shelf life. It is not like when we buy medicines and all, there is expiry date. So it doesn't have that type of expiry date. Again, it is in use for very long time. So there is established technology. effective on deep-seated fires. Now, the thing is, when we use CO2, we don't have to go near fire. We are releasing it from somewhere else. Unlike if you are using, say, water hose. Water hose means you have to approach within, say, 15, 20 meters of the fire. CO2 and all, you are doing it from remote place. Now, disadvantages, no cooling effect, danger of asphyxiation. That is, when we say that CO2 kills, that is what happens, because CO2 can become toxic for us. Now, it is mentioned here as a disadvantage not to be used under automatic control in manned spaces. We don't use it. The arrangement is never given to use automatically for simple reason. How do you trigger it on? You will trigger it on some alarm. Now, if you say there is automatic alarm, and if there is a problem with the detection system, and you get a false alarm, and it will release CO2. And then what happens? You are at sea, you have wasted CO2, and then you have got a limitation. What happens if you really get fire after that? So it is not automatic. Now, CO2 is one of the advantages from beginning was it needs much lesser pressure to convert it into liquid. So this is in liquid format, and because you pressurize it till it becomes liquid and then store it in cylinders, like our cooking gas. Some cargoes may swell, but normally I will not go so much for that. But for answer, one can say that. Dangerous if used on some chemicals, because CO2 can react with chemicals. So normally when you are loading any specific cargoes like chemicals or something, you get instructions how to fight fire. So that time you have to cross check whether your CO2 system is approved or no. Not right now actually for you, but this is what chief officers have to do when they get specific cargoes. They have to check that ship has got suitable firefighting system for that type of cargo. Discharge generates, I will not even say may, generates sufficient static electricity to produce a spark and ignition of any flammable vapors present. Now, this is one important point. We don't release CO2 unless there is a confirmed fire. Because if it is explosive atmosphere somewhere and you release CO2, that nozzles, there will be ice, because CO2 is liquid, it is going to come out. There will be ice particles, and the ends can get frozen. As you remember, on the CO2 extinguishers, you have got a handle which is insulated. For same reason, it becomes extremely cold and it will start icing. And that time, the static electricity will be generated and a spark may happen. So if you release it in inflammable vapors, you will actually cause an explosion. So you never use it unless there is a confirmed fire. You have got handheld extinguishers for small fires, but they are never in accommodation because of this part. This is what is the dangerous part. Asphyxiation. That is why they are not used in accommodation. You will find only thing in accommodation, if at all CO2 is found, it will be in galley. Otherwise, it will be like machinery space, cargo holds, pump rooms, etc. Okay. We'll see if we can do foam doubtfully now. Okay. No. So we'll stop here at foam. Okay. Now you have got this you read it and come tomorrow because we have it available. बाय बाय कहाँ से चालू हो गया? I am unmuting all. Now you ask anything. Any doubts are there? Classes have started, but you still need to submit assignments. Yes. Okay.
Lol.
Amritash.
Bye.
You have to still submit assignments because assignments will cover up everything properly. See,
Okay, sir.
we all are sitting at home. One way or the other, if you finish off, afterwards you have to do it again anyway. So instead of that, might well let's use this boring time and do better with it. Better, no? What else? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Everybody knows how to get this book. I had sent you link.
Yes, sir.
And this lecture, I am going to put it same place, but in case you want to reuse it anyway. Since we are doing it, might as well record it. And one more girl is absent, huh?
Yes, sir.
Apurva, are you there?
Sir, Vinayak.
Apurva is there?
Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye.
नहीं बाय बाय ठहरो मेरे को पहले देखने दो. Only one girl is there, other one is missing. Akhir is also there. 65 are there. Sonak is there. Rohin is there. Satish. Margot is always there. Both is there. How are you all doing now? प्रजापति का क्या है? हाथ ऊपर किया था.
Girlfriend है sir उसका.
Okay, just remember you still need to continue doing your assignment. Okay, because the way things are going on, we might be still looking about 1 month down the line. Okay.
Exam should be cancelled then.
Yes, sir. Exam should be cancelled. So you are right, bro.
Then it's gone mad. He's saying bye 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 bye. What? So okay, tomorrow same time. Ensure that some guys have missed it. If you are in touch with them, tell them because I had maximum 65, and now I will know whatever you all have done. Okay, ठीक है, चलो. Any doubts you can send. And for Bala's doubts, I will deal with them separately. He had some doubts that I will deal separately. Okay? Chalo, bye.
Bye, sir. See you, sir.
Bye.
Good afternoon, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye.